trying to get that recipe to the cake. All topics, follow me, Chris Profit. Alright, what's going on, y'all? Chris Profits here. I know it's been a minute, but just felt like I need to do a video to I really just need to make a comeback, make a video, make a couple videos here and there, and give some more experience on what I'm seeing in the market and trying to help others out. So today's video, I'm going to be going over how we personally educate sellers on offer prices. So meaning that basically whenever we're making an offer to a seller on their land, we always want to give them an offer, a reason behind our offer. We don't just want to give them an offer price, a low price offer. Say the land is worth $100,000. We don't just want to give them a 50% offer and not have a reason behind why we're giving them that offer. So I made a little Google Doc here that I'm going to go through fairly quickly, and hopefully it helps you guys out who are making offers to these sellers. So let's go. So educating the seller on the offer price. So first thing we do is we always want to give the seller reasons on how we came up with our offer price. The main reason is this is going to help the seller understand why we can pay what we can pay. And whenever you're going to give these offer prices, no matter if you're texting people, direct mailing, getting people that call you back in, you always want to, call them, talk to them in person. Well, talk to them on the phone about this information if possible. Now, if you're just using SMS and you're just using, texting for your marketing, then sometimes, they may be more comfortable with just texting you back. But try to get them on the phone. That's always the first option, because you're going to have a lot of information that you can give them that's going to help them further on, even if whether they do business with you or not. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to be fully transparent on what the situation is on their property. And they're going to respect you for it. They'll understand. Even if they say no, go away, that's too low, that's not a good offer, whatever the case may be, they'll understand. They'll respect that you reached out to them and actually gave them this information. So a good amount of time a seller doesn't even know this information. Sometimes, they inherited a lot. It was their parents' land from years ago and they never even seen it in person before. So sometimes they don't even know what's going on with the property. And it's our job to help them and help ourselves at the same time, so we can make it a win-win situation. So, because that's the name of the game. So I usually like to start with, you can start how you like, but I usually like to start with on a good note. Hey, Mr. Sellers, good news. We looked at your property more. We really like the property. We want to make you an offer on it. And then I go into the reasons, educating them on their property, and then at that point I let them know what we can offer for it. So let's go over some reasons, and it'll kind of make sense in a minute after I go through a couple of these notes here. So and like I said, this is going to be for in general, but you can add more specific reasons for your area. Each area is going to be different, obviously, but and infill lots, smaller lots are going to be different than big land. 50-acre land is going to be a lot different than smaller lots, but I just kind of mix these up. You can kind of use what you can for each one and make it work for you. So infill lots, so small land. So one reason is these are the typical ones I just put on here. So there's no electricity on the land. We looked into it. We're gonna have to put some poles out there to get electricity to it. We're gonna have main story is we're gonna have to attach electricity. There's no water. It's well. So we're gonna have to install a well, Mr. Seller. That's one of the reasons why our offer is what it is. There's no city sewer. So a lot of times, there's no sewer on the property, and we're going to have to, on those, we'd have to install a septic system onto the land to make it work once we build a property on it. So those are general ones you can use. Those three are, usually the ones that you can go to the easiest to bring up on small land. And then there's niche areas. So there's like I said, get to know your specific area that you're working in. Call local realtors and ask them about what challenges they have with selling the land in the area. So here's a few examples on different reasons that you wouldn't even know unless you're going to call somebody, especially if you're working in a new area, so you don't really know the area and you're trying to break through. This is really going to help you have an advantage over your competition that are just blindly sending direct mail or text messages without really knowing the area. So one thing that's and this is for Florida. Not a lot of areas, but some specific areas. They have turtles. Turtles burrow on the land, and so you're going to need to know that before you make an offer, and and make sure that the land is good. Another reason is too many rocks. So if there are too many rocks, and this is for Texas, some areas in Texas have this. If there's a lot of rocks on the area, you're gonna have to let the seller know, hey, Mr. Seller, we love the property, but there's looks like there's a lot of rocks on the area. Did you know about the rocks they're going on? There's large size rocks out there. And then they'll say yes, no, but whatever the case is, you're going to give them a reason. Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to get somebody to go out there and remove those rocks. So for that reason, this is going to be our offer price. And same thing with protected birds on the land. If it's a certain area in Florida, they have some areas that have protected birds, and you can't even really, it's going to be sometimes way too expensive for you to sell those properties, because you have to get those birds removed by the environment, the city or the government. They're going to have to actually come in and remove them. And sometimes it's not even worth it for you to deal with those. So, those are two things, you have to look into once you get into those areas. But I'm sure they'll tell you. I'm sure buyers will tell you if you get them under contract, and there's issues with the property on the land. So another one is perk test. Now, perk test, you can use this for big land and small land, but basically, I would just ask, while you can do this when you're pre-qualify them too, but if you're talking to them and you say, hey, we really like the land, has there been a perk test done on the property yet? They'll say yes or no. Well, we're not sure if the land is buildable, so we may have to do a perk test. And the reason we may do a perk test is to test the soil for buildability. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. We're going to need a test to make sure we can build a house or a structure on the land. And you can use this anywhere, basically big land or small land. And this is also good perk test, letting them know you may have to do a perk test. This is good for asking for if you have the property under contract and you still say you're wholesaling it and you haven't found a buyer yet. You can this is good for asking the seller for more time. Say, hey, we're kind of looking into it. We don't really want to have to get a perk test done. We're trying to see if we can make sure it's a good fit for us, and we're trying to go that route before we have to do a perk test. And because the main reason is a lot of sellers, especially if they know if it's an area where they do perk tests all the time, they'll really not want to do a perk test. So they may work with you and give you more time to, close on the property, which is the time that you'll go and see if you can find a buyer. Another one is a DEP report. Same thing. This is similar to a perk test in that it's a test to make sure the lot is buildable. They have some areas that are, have wetlands, and a lot of the land is not buildable, but they look like everything else. So you have to do a DEP report to make sure the land is high enough that you can build on. And that's another one. So you can ask them, hey, do you know if there's a DEP report that's been done on the property yet? And they'll let you know if a lot of times they're not even going to know, but like I said, it's your job to educate them on. They'll probably need to get one done if they actually do want to sell this property at some point. So Easy ones are if you look at the area and there's not, this is more for not as popular areas, but if there's not many sales nearby, hard to find comps, we have to let them know as investors, hey, we really can't find that many sales in the area, so we're probably going to have to be a little more conservative with our offer. And that being said, we're going to offer you 40,000 for this land here. And same thing, too many recent sales. So you think that's a good thing, but if there's too many sales nearby and they're still asking a higher price, just let them know it's a very competitive area. So I can probably just buy a property on the MLS for the price you're asking if they have a high asking price. So just ask them, why would I pay your price if I'm seeing 3 or 4 properties the same exact square footage and look looking the same as yours for the same price? Why am I going to go and I need to get a deal if I'm going to buy yours over the others? So some benefits to selling to us. So that you're going to combine this with the offer prices and with the so you're going to combine the offer price and the benefits plus the reasons, which will equal your offer, basically your offer phrase, what you're going to talk to them with over the phone. So some benefits to selling with us. This is probably the easiest things. I would always give these, with your pitch whenever you are trying to close them on the property. But closing costs and commissions, hey, we're gonna pay all your closing costs. There's no realtor commissions to you as the seller. We can close on as fast as 2 weeks, typically 30 to 40 days. This is for smaller land that you're going to be able to sell or find a builder for. Cash, we're going to be paying cash in your pocket at closing, and a virtual notary. This is another one that you want to make it as easy as possible for these sellers to sell with you. We're kind of like we're kind of like the Uber Eats for people. So they sell with us not for the price, but mainly for convenience. So a lot of times, title companies will give you option of sending a notary out to these people. So we have an option to send a notary to you, so you don't have to drive into the title company. And you can offer this. Just make sure your title company has that option to send a notary out on closing day before you offer this option. But you'd be surprised, many title companies do. So big lots, same thing. There's actually more reasons with the big lots because basically just because there's so much more land. So there's more reasons that you can get into with the seller. So if you see a lot, and I'll show you a parcel example in a second. Actually, I'll show you right now. So if it's heavily wooded, here's an example here. So heavily wooded, so we're going to have to hire a contractor to come out and cut the trees before we can build. So let me show you an example of that. So I pulled up this one here. This is just a random parcel in where's this, West Virginia, that we were looking at. And the parcel looks like it's heavily wooded here. So you can just say, hey, it looks like this parcel is heavily wooded. We're going to have to probably this one actually has some open land here, but just say there was a lot of trees and stuff that were closer to the road. You can tell them, hey, it looks like, this parcel is heavily wooded. We're going to have to hire somebody to come out and cut down all the trees before we can even build on it. So for that reason, we can offer you $44,347. And another reason is no driveways. If it's if it's a rural area and there is no driveway, you can tell them, hey, we're gonna have to build a driveway that's from the road. It's going to be pretty costly for us to build. So all these reasons are basically going to cut into the price that you can offer them. Long story short. So another one is there are no trees. So if the opposite's true, then you can say the opposite. So say, for example, if this lot right here had no trees in it, you can tell them, hey, we're probably going to have to replant this area. I don't know if there's not really any trees out there, so we're probably going to have to replant it. So I think based on that information, we're going to be able to offer you, X amount for the land. And same thing for this too, for bigger land too, same thing. So you can, like I said, you can use perk tests anywhere. Just ask them up front. You can either ask this when you're talking to them at first or when you're actually making the offer. But same thing, has there been a perk test done? We're not sure if the land is buildable, but we may have to do a perk test to test the soil to make sure it's buildable. Buildability. That's that word I made up. It might be a real word, but that's just another reason that you can give them on why you may need. You just want to put some doubt in their mind, like we should be able to buy, but we just have to make sure it's buildable. Another reason for bigger land, typically this is for bigger land, but surveys. Has a survey been done? We may have to get a survey done on the land to make sure the corners are accurate, make sure the county has the correct information on their records. So we might have to get a survey done. Not sure yet, but just saying that we're probably going to have to make an offer a little less because surveys typically are $2,000-3,000 to get done, just based on how big the land is. And another one here is odd shapes. If the land is like an L shape or a flag shape or something like that, it's going to result in it's not going to be as desirable for buyers and for you as the buyer. So this is going to result in a lower offer from us as investors. So you can tell them, hey, we typically don't buy this shape, but we still see some potential in the land. So I think we might be able to move forward, but we kind of got to be more conservative with our numbers. And this is our offer for that reason. Another one is if it's sloped. Now this is if it's still, if the topography is still quite decent, but you do see some slopes on the land, you can always add that in, when you're talking about the land. And a lot of times they're going to know that it's sloped, but, they still want to offer. They're still stuck on that price, but you have to educate them on why you can't pay them as much as another property when they have a slope. So you can tell them, hey, we're going to have to, this parcel is a heavier slope. It's kind of on a rolling slope. So we're going to have to hire somebody that's going to build the land back up on the flat to make it flat again so that we can build. So just emphasize, we're going to have to find somebody that's going to put this back up to where we can build a house or build something on it. Because right now it's just too slow. So, well, we do want the land, so always let them know we want it, but there's deficiencies on the land that you got to work on. Another one is landlocked. I don't know if you guys buy landlocked properties or not. Landlocked basically means the land has no road access, and you can let them know that and base your offer on that. And if nearby parcels have these items, you can use those reasons. Well, here's some more reasons below for bigger parcels, but this is similar to the ones before for small land. No electricity, no water, no city sewer. But really, for bigger land, you want to use this for people who have neighbors nearby that do have these things. This is really, really better for people who have, like, their parcel doesn't have it, but hey, 2 doors down, this guy has electricity. Looks like he has, looks like he has city water. I don't know what's going on, but yours doesn't quite have that. So after you do your research on this land, then you can give them the information and then make your offer based on that. So, and then same thing, just big lands, similar. Always give them the benefits at the very end when you're wrapping up your offer. So let's go down. So let's do one example. You can kind of play around with this and come up with your phrase. So here's just an example on how to use this. So, hey, Mr. Seller, good news. Looks like we really like this property. You're talking to him on the phone at this point. We really like this property. We want it. Looks like it still has a lot of trees, and there's not. And you can do this. Sorry to cut myself off, but you can do this actually while you're looking at the property, and you can kind of mention other things around it. So what I like to do is when I'm calling them back, is I'm actually looking at the property, seeing if there's anything else I can talk about, good or bad. But I want to be able to, look at it while I'm talking to them, just to kind of get in the frame of mind of what exactly I'm offering. and what I'm looking at. So so to say the full thing now, Mr. Seller, looks like it's good news. I just wanted to call you back and with our offer. Looks like we really like this property. We do want it. Looks like there's a lot of trees on the property, and there's not. It doesn't seem like there's electricity yet. So we're probably going to have to hire a company to come out and cut down the trees so that we can build. And we're also going to have to call the county about the electricity. So due to these reasons, our underwriters come back with the offer of $34,684.79 for the land. Is that a price that you consider? So versus if you just say, hey, I'm calling you back about your property. I see that it's, we want the land. We really want the land. I think we can offer 34,000. So which is that a price you would consider? So which one of those two scenarios would you much rather a person tell you about your property? So one, you're educating them. You want to make sure that you're at least giving them some feedback on exactly why you think the property is worth what it is and the reasons why. And I should have added on there the benefits at the end. So it looks like we can offer offer of $34,684.79. With that offer, we're going to pay all your closing costs, and there's not going to be any realtor commissions to you. Is this a price that you could consider? So that being said, that's going to be the reasons. So give the reasons and then give the offer. Never give an offer without the reasons to support it, especially, us, we're buying as investors. So it's going to be a lower offer most of the time. So reasons plus the offer plus the benefits equals more properties under contract and more money in your pocket. Okay. So if I was going too fast, just kind of rewind this and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or if you have any more reasons, let me know what you think or what has worked for you with these properties, getting these properties on the contract. But, if you're good to the seller and you're giving them full transparency and you're letting them know exactly what the deal is, they'll respect you more for it. Even if you can't buy the property, they're going to respect you, and they'll be willing to maybe down the line, they'll be willing to, work with you once they know exactly what they're dealing with the land. So Chris Profit signing off. I'll put a download of this PDF in the not the bio, but the comment section below in the description. And let me know if you need anything or if you have any more questions, and I'll make more videos coming up. Signing out.
Follow me, Chris Profit, come with me. It's 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to get a recipe to the cake, all topics. Follow me.